When you hear the name Machiavelli, what comes to mind? For many, it's a synonym for cunning, deceit, and ruthless political maneuvering. The term Machiavellian has become shorthand for unscrupulous behavior in the pursuit of power. But is this a fair representation of Niccolò Machiavelli and his seminal work, The Prince? Written in 1513, The Prince is one of the most influential political treatises ever penned. Yet, it's often misunderstood. Rather than a manual for tyranny, it's a pragmatic analysis of power dynamics, leadership, and statecraft. Machiavelli doesn't advocate for immorality. He offers a realistic portrayal of political life, emphasizing the complexities and challenges leaders face. In this exploration, we'll delve into the true essence of The Prince, examining its key themes, historical context, and enduring relevance in today's political and corporate landscapes. Historical context and Machiavelli's life. To understand The Prince, we must first consider the turbulent times in which Machiavelli lived. Born in 1469 in Florence, Italy, Machiavelli witnessed a city-state fraught with political instability, foreign invasions, and internal power struggles. The Medici family, who had long ruled Florence, were overthrown in 1494, leading to the establishment of a republic. Machiavelli served as a diplomat and official in this republican government, gaining first-hand experience in politics and international affairs. However, in 1512, the Medici returned to power and Machiavelli was dismissed, imprisoned, and even tortured. It was during his subsequent exile that he wrote The Prince, dedicating it to Lorenzo de' Medici in hopes of regaining political favor. This backdrop of political upheaval and personal misfortune heavily influenced Machiavelli's perspectives, leading him to prioritize stability and effective governance over idealistic notions of virtue. The ends justify the means? One of the most debated concepts associated with Machiavelli is the idea that the ends justify the means. While this exact phrase doesn't appear in The Prince, the sentiment is often attributed to his pragmatic approach to power. Machiavelli argues that rulers must be prepared to act immorally when necessary to maintain their state and protect their people. He writes, "A prince, particularly a new prince, cannot afford to cultivate attributes for which men are considered good. In order to maintain the state, a prince will often be compelled to work against what is merciful, loyal, humane." This perspective doesn't advocate for evil for its own sake, but recognizes that moral rigidity can be detrimental in the volatile realm of politics. Leaders must be adaptable, willing to make tough decisions that may conflict with traditional virtues, if it means ensuring the stability and security of their state. Better feared than loved. Another infamous assertion from The Prince is that it's safer for a ruler to be feared than loved, provided he avoids being hated. Machiavelli explains, "It is much safer to be feared than loved because ... Men have less scruple in offending one who is beloved than one who is feared." He emphasizes that fear is a more reliable means to maintain control, as people's affections are fickle, but their fear of punishment is constant. However, Machiavelli cautions against cruelty that breeds hatred, advocating for a balance where a ruler is firm yet just. In contemporary leadership, this translates to the importance of respect and authority. Leaders who are too lenient may be taken advantage of, while those who are excessively harsh risk rebellion. The key lies in commanding respect through consistent and fair governance. The power of appearances. Machiavelli was acutely aware of the role perception plays in leadership. He posits that it's not necessary for a prince to possess all virtuous qualities, but it's essential to appear as though he does. He writes, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are." This insight underscores the importance of image management. A ruler must project qualities like compassion, integrity, and piety, even if he doesn't embody them fully. The perception of virtue can be as influential as virtue itself in securing loyalty and maintaining order. In today's world, this concept is evident in political campaigns, corporate branding, and public relations strategies. Leaders and organizations meticulously craft their public images to align with societal expectations, recognizing that perception often shapes reality. Adaptability and the role of fortune. Machiavelli introduces the concepts of Virk and Fortuna to explain a leader's success. Virk refers to a ruler's ability, strength, and cunning, while Fortuna represents luck or external circumstances. He compares fortune to a river that can cause destruction when it overflows. However, with foresight and preparation, a ruler can build defenses to mitigate its impact. Machiavelli asserts, "Fortune is a woman, and if you wish to keep her under, it is necessary to beat and ill-use her." While the language reflects the era's gender norms, the underlying message is clear. Leaders must be proactive, adaptable, and prepared to seize opportunities while mitigating risks. In modern contexts, this translates to strategic planning, risk management, and the agility to respond to changing circumstances, essential qualities for political leaders and business executives alike. Military preparedness and the art of war. A significant portion of The Prince emphasizes the importance of military strength. Machiavelli argues that a ruler must prioritize the art of war, as it's the foundation of power and security. He warns against relying on mercenaries or auxiliary troops, advocating instead for a well-trained, loyal army. He states, "A prince ought to have no other aim or thought, nor select anything else for his study, than war and its rules and discipline." This focus on military preparedness underscores the necessity of self-reliance and the ability to defend one's state. In contemporary terms, it highlights the importance of national defense, strategic alliances, and the capacity to respond to external threats. The role of cruelty and clemency. Machiavelli discusses the delicate balance between cruelty and clemency. He acknowledges that while cruelty can be effective in establishing order, it must be employed judiciously. Excessive cruelty breeds hatred, while excessive leniency can lead to disorder. He cites Cesare Borgia as an example of a leader who used cruelty effectively to restore order in Romania, noting that Borgia's decisive actions ultimately benefited the region. This analysis suggests that leaders must assess situations carefully, applying strict measures when necessary, but always with the aim of achieving stability and the greater good. The dangers of flattery and the importance of wise counsel. Machiavelli warns rulers about the perils of flattery, emphasizing the need for honest advisors. He advises, "There is no other way of guarding oneself against flattery than by letting men understand that they will not offend you by speaking the truth." A wise prince surrounds himself with trusted counselors who provide candid advice, enabling informed decision-making. This principle remains relevant today, as leaders benefit from diverse perspectives and constructive criticism to navigate complex challenges. The ethics of leadership. While the prince is often criticized for promoting unethical behavior, it's essential to recognize that Machiavelli doesn't dismiss morality outright. Instead, he separates personal ethics from political necessity, arguing that the latter sometimes requires actions that may conflict with conventional morality. This distinction invites ongoing debate about the ethical responsibilities of leaders. Should they adhere strictly to moral principles, or is it acceptable to compromise ethics for the sake of political stability and the greater good? The legacy and misinterpretation of Machiavelli. Over the centuries, the prince has been both revered and reviled. Some view it as a handbook for tyrants, while others see it as a realistic guide to effective leadership. The term Machiavellian has taken on negative connotations, often overshadowing the nuanced insights Machiavelli offers. It's crucial to approach The Prince with an understanding of its historical context and the challenges Machiavelli sought to address. Rather than prescribing immorality, he provides a candid examination of power dynamics, encouraging leaders to be pragmatic and adaptable. The Prince challenges us to reconsider our perceptions of leadership and morality. Machiavelli doesn't advocate for cruelty or deceit for their own sake. He presents a realistic portrayal of the political landscape, where idealism must often yield to pragmatism. In a world where appearances can be as influential as actions, and where leaders must navigate complex, ever-changing environments, Machiavelli's work remains profoundly relevant. It serves as both a guide and a